We need to move the shipment now. I'll find a way to keep them at bay.
Shut it down before it's too late!
No, I am ending this right now.
The cardboard box in Owen Carter's trembling hands held everything that remained of 15 years of loyal service. A faded family photo, a coffee mug with tiny fingerprints painted around its side, and a pair of worn work gloves were all he carried as he walked through the bright lobby while dozens of co-workers silently watched. His 7-year-old son was waiting outside on a sunny afternoon, believing his father was simply finishing another normal workday. What none of them knew was that the people celebrating Owen's dismissal had just made the biggest mistake of their careers. 20 minutes after he stepped out of those glass doors, one quiet phone call would expose a truth so powerful that the executives who proudly fired him would be packing their own belongings before sunset. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, honesty, and second chances still matter in this world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach more people every day. Owen Carter had never expected life to become so heavy so quickly. 5 years earlier, he had buried his wife after a sudden illness that left him alone to raise his little son, Mason. Every morning before sunrise, he prepared breakfast, packed lunches, walked Mason to school, and then hurried across town to Greystone Logistics, where he worked as a senior operations coordinator. His co-workers often joked that Owen somehow fit 40 hours into every 24. They never saw the sleepless nights spent helping with homework, washing clothes, paying bills, or quietly worrying about whether he could afford another pair of shoes for Mason after another growth spurt. Despite everything, Owen smiled because he believed that children deserved to grow up seeing hope instead of fear. Greystone Logistics had once been a company people admired. It rewarded dedication and respected hardworking employees. That changed after new executives arrived promising record profits. Suddenly, numbers mattered more than people. Experienced workers were treated like expenses instead of human beings. Departments shrank while workloads doubled. Employees who spoke honestly about safety concerns found themselves ignored or quietly replaced. Owen stayed because he needed stability for Mason. He believed patience would eventually bring change. One bright Tuesday morning, that hope disappeared. Without warning, Owen was called into a conference room where 3 executives sat behind polished wooden tables. There were no thank you speeches, no appreciation for 15 years of flawless service, no recognition of countless weekends sacrificed to save major projects. Instead, a prepared document informed him that his position had been eliminated as part of restructuring. His access card stopped working before he even reached the elevator. As Owen collected his belongings, younger employees lowered their heads, embarrassed by what they had witnessed. Everyone knew he had trained nearly half the department. Everyone knew he stayed late whenever emergencies happened. Yet loyalty had become meaningless. Outside the building, Mason sat on a nearby bench reading a library book because school had ended early. The little boy smiled the moment he saw his father. Owen forced himself to smile back, hiding the pain behind tired eyes. He refused to let his son carry the weight of adult disappointments. They walked toward a small park nearby, where children laughed beneath the warm afternoon sun. Owen bought Mason an inexpensive ice cream with the last cash in his wallet. While Mason happily chased pigeons across the grass, Owen quietly stared at the company building. He wasn't angry. He wasn't planning revenge. He simply remembered a promise he had made years earlier to someone who had once changed his life. During Greystone's darkest financial crisis almost a decade before, Owen had worked closely with an elderly consultant named Victor Hale. Victor had admired Owen's honesty more than his technical skills. When everyone else manipulated reports to protect themselves, Owen had insisted on presenting accurate information. That honesty saved the company from making disastrous decisions worth millions of dollars. Before retiring, Victor had handed Owen a simple business card. He had smiled and told Owen that if life ever became unfair despite his integrity, he should never hesitate to call. Owen had kept that card tucked safely inside his wallet ever since. As Mason continued playing nearby, Owen quietly removed the worn card. The number remained perfectly readable. He made one phone call. He spoke calmly for less than 2 minutes. He never complained. He never demanded justice. He simply explained what had happened. Victor listened in complete silence before ending the conversation with one reassuring sentence. Everything changed exactly 20 minutes later. Back inside Greystone headquarters, executives gathered unexpectedly in the boardroom. The celebration over recent cost-cutting measures ended almost instantly when black luxury vehicles stopped outside the building. Several distinguished individuals entered alongside Victor Hale himself. Many younger employees had never met Victor, but older managers immediately recognized the respected founder who had quietly stepped away years earlier after placing the company into a family investment trust. What almost nobody knew was that Victor still possessed legal authority through the trust agreement whenever executive actions threatened the company's ethical standards or long-term stability. His arrival stunned everyone. Financial records were requested. Personnel decisions were reviewed. Employee complaints ignored for months suddenly landed on the conference table. Independent auditors who had already been investigating executive misconduct entered shortly afterward. The atmosphere changed from confidence to panic. Hidden documents revealed manipulated budgets, unlawful staffing decisions, safety violations, and performance reports intentionally altered to increase executive bonuses. The firing of Owen Carter became the final piece connecting months of unethical leadership. Victor quietly asked one simple question. Why had the company's most trusted operations coordinator been dismissed without cause while executives rewarded themselves with enormous bonuses? No one offered an answer. Within the hour, termination notices were handed to the very executives who had proudly dismissed Owen earlier that afternoon. Security escorted them from the building carrying cardboard boxes nearly identical to Owen's. Employees watched in complete silence. No applause. No celebration. Only relief. Meanwhile, Owen and Mason were feeding ducks beside a peaceful lake, completely unaware of what had already unfolded. Victor arrived personally. Instead of making dramatic speeches, the elderly man simply sat beside Owen on a wooden bench beneath the shade of a large oak tree. He reminded Owen that integrity often seems invisible until the moment someone desperately needs it. Years earlier, Owen's honesty had protected thousands of jobs, even though almost nobody realized it. Victor had never forgotten. He then offered Owen something completely unexpected. Greystone's board wanted him back immediately, not merely as an employee, but as the company's new director of operations with authority to rebuild workplace culture alongside a leadership team committed to respect, transparency, and fairness. Owen looked toward Mason before answering. Money mattered. The promotion mattered. But what mattered most was creating a workplace where parents would never again fear losing everything because someone valued profits above people. He accepted. The following weeks transformed Greystone logistics. Mandatory family-friendly scheduling policies appeared. Employee childcare assistance programs launched. Anonymous ethics reporting became protected. Safety investments returned. Experienced workers previously dismissed unfairly received invitations to come back. For the first time in years, smiles slowly returned to hallways once filled with quiet anxiety. Owen refused to decorate his office with expensive awards. Instead, he placed the same faded family photograph from his cardboard box on his desk. Whenever difficult decisions arose, he looked at that picture before signing anything. It reminded him that every employee represented a family waiting at home. Months later, Mason visited the office during Family Appreciation Day. Instead of polished speeches from executives, employees shared stories about coworkers who had helped them through difficult seasons of life. One mechanic spoke about receiving flexible hours while caring for his sick mother. A warehouse supervisor described finally attending her daughter's school performances. A young trainee explained that Owen had personally encouraged him after repeated mistakes instead of humiliating him. The company was no longer known merely for delivering products. It became known for protecting people. News of Greystone's remarkable turnaround spread throughout the business community. Analysts praised improved productivity, lower turnover, stronger customer satisfaction, and healthier financial results. Ironically, treating employees with dignity produced greater profits than fear ever had. Owen often thought back to that lonely afternoon carrying his cardboard box. At the time, losing his job had felt like losing his future. Instead, it became the beginning of a purpose far greater than a paycheck. Sometimes life closes one door because it is preparing to open another that allows us not only to succeed, but also to lift others along the way. The people who fired him believed power came from titles and authority. Owen discovered that real power comes from character, compassion, and earning the trust of those around you every single day. If Victor had never answered that phone call, Owen would still have found another way forward because integrity has a remarkable habit of opening unexpected paths. His victory was never about revenge. It was about restoring fairness. It was about proving that kindness is not weakness. It was about showing his son that the right thing may take longer, but it is always worth choosing. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire so more people can discover stories that remind us goodness still exists in this world. Special request: before this story ends, please comment with the words, "Integrity always wins," if you believe honest people should never give up, no matter how difficult life becomes. As the sun slowly settled across the bright afternoon sky, Mason reached for his father's hand while they walked home together. Owen no longer carried a cardboard box filled with memories of what he had lost. Instead, he carried something far more valuable, the quiet confidence that a life built on honesty can never truly be taken away. The people who dismissed him lost their positions. The father they underestimated gained a future, restored hope for countless families, and taught his son the greatest lesson of all: success earned with kindness lasts far longer than power gained without it.